He's the number one. His legs are number one. His eyes are number one. His muscles are number one. He's number one.
So I'm here with my buddy Josh Sauseda, and I've helped him prepare for quite a few pro fights. He's helped me prepare for all of mine. And so, Josh, what's kind of the takeaway? Let's say nobody's ever done one of the pro fights, either Fight to Win or any of the others. Like, what is the good, the bad, the ugly? Like, give me the sort of the highs and lows.
Sure. So I think one of the greatest things about doing a pro fight is coming together with your team to prepare for it. Because it's such a big event. It's big for you in your competition experience. It's big for your team because it puts their name out there and they get to help you prepare for it. So I think that's one of the biggest things is preparing yourself, preparing with your team, and making it, really kind of a big deal for everyone involved.
And maybe what's the thing that's not the best? Like what's maybe something that you don't enjoy or that doesn't may not go like you wish sometimes.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you don't really account for is all that you have to do. So you have to prepare for the event, you have to sell tickets, and the selling of the tickets isn't necessarily a fun part. It makes sense that you have to do it, and it's a good way. You want to get people out there to support you and support the event, but just sort of that salesman part of it.
Yeah, it depends how you're wired, but
right,
like
yeah.
My job is self-promotion is a lot of it, and I hate that. That's my least favorite part of the job, and that's something you got to do with all the pro fights is a whole bunch of self-promotion.
Yeah, so then all of the events that you have to plan for, so the photo shoot, the weigh-ins, the event of if you have kids and they have their activities and things like that. So it's all fun stuff to do, but the planning of it all, making sure you have the time to do everything that's involved, just can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes when you already have a full plate.
Yeah, and for most of us, doing it for the money definitely isn't a thing, because if we have families and stuff, by the time you buy tickets for your family, you're pretty much losing money. But I'm sure you experience that too.
Yeah, each piece of it is fun. It's just the planning of it that's like, I have to make a plan for all these different dates and all these different times, and that's for me is kind of a bit of a challenge.
It's a lot. Was there anything different about this last one? Obviously, you've done this a few times now. Was this your fourth?
Yeah, so this was my fourth one. So I think two things that were different are, I think the biggest one is the family load that I have with the kids and all their activities and things like that. I really didn't have time to train for this one like I usually do. So it's usually like training 4 or 5 days a week, eat, sleep, and breathing, jujitsu, and just where I am in my phase of life. Being a single dad, I don't have the time to do that anymore. So I was really only training 2 days a week, and then the last week, right before the event, I was able to get in, I think 6 days in a row. So that was really sort of different in my preparation. I didn't prepare it to the level or put the time in like I would usually put in, but each time I did train, I just tried to make sure that it was very focused. Every time I stepped on the mat, there wasn't a moment wasted. So that was different. And then a goal that I had for this one was to try not to be so nervous, because I always get so nervous, and it makes me tense and it makes me hesitant as I play my game. And I felt like this time I really wanted to get that under control. And so that went really well. I think you actually gave me some great advice the night before, just reiterating that, getting out there on the stage and doing that match is no different than any other time I step on the mat in the practice room. So, just really embracing that aspect of it, allowed me to relax and feel more comfortable and play a little more freely.
So I know you got quite a few stripes on that brown belt. Maybe one more, and then probably be changing, leveling up. Anything gonna change when you level up?
I hope not. The plan is to do the same thing that I'm doing now. Train when I can, compete when I can. As long as I'm healthy, I'll keep competing. I don't really have any specific goals related to anything I want to do at black belt, other than just staying active and keep doing what I'm doing now. So I'm looking forward to the freedom of not feeling like I have to reach a certain level before the next thing, because once you're there, you're black belt. I mean, you're basically starting all over anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just now I'm free to work on whatever I want to work on, and I don't have to worry about any gaps or holes that I need to clear up before the next stripe promotion or the next belt promotion, because now it's just all about the journey.
All right, so here's another one we both are dealing with. We're teaching at two different academies now, the GB Colorado Springs and GB Westside Colorado Springs. So tell me a little bit about that and how that affects life and training and.
Sure. So yeah, both great academies. GB Colorado Springs is owned by Professor Brian Waltz and Vanessa Wexler, and I've gotten all of my belts from Professor Brian. Really learned how to teach starting with the kids, starting back in 2012, and then bumping up into adults with fundamentals classes. A little bit later in my blue belt experience. So I really learned a lot. My game has been really shaped by Professor Brian as well, and all that he's taught. So nowadays, now that the school has grown and gotten bigger, Todd Battaglia, one of Professor Brian's former students, opened up a school, and so I teach at Gracie Baja Colorado Springs under Professor Brian 1 day a week. I teach 1 day a week at Coach Todd's school, GB West. And so it's been interesting. Most of my training is done at GB Central, but I love to go and teach and train with the guys at GB West as well. And it's great to be a part of something from the beginning, from day one when they opened up, and investing in a whole new pool of students, and just sharing everything I've learned along the way with them. And so sometimes it could be a bit challenged just juggling the two different schedules, and making sure I'm giving time at both. And but I think different partners to train with at each school really helps, and then it's great when we all come together and just get on the mats and roll. One of the things about not necessarily having a ton of experienced students at the GB West school is there's still a good number of we have Andrew Russo, who's a purple belt, P.D. Ristig, who's I think a 4-stripe blue belt. Professor Haynes still comes in, and so I've definitely been able to get some good matches in with those guys several times. Let's see, and then inviting over some friends from Central as well to come and train. They have that opportunity between the schools to visit back and forth, so you can get great training at both still. And then even one night we teamed up with the Wilson brothers. It was great to train cross train with some friends from across town.
Anybody you want to thank while we got a second?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's so many people to thank. I think Professor Brian and Vanessa and the whole team at GBCS. I mean, everyone's just so supportive and always coming together and help me train, and offer advice and just help with the kids, watching them while I have to go do photo shoots and things like that. I think Coach Todd, Val, and Amber Battaglia over at GB West, and them helping organize some of the training, and again letting the Wilson brothers come over and train with us, and putting together extra sessions with PD and Andrew and Professor Haynes. That's all been great. And again, they're super supportive as well. And I think, I got to thank my kids for putting up with my crazy schedule, because I mean, they're definitely, kind of along for the ride sometimes with some of this. And they, my church family at Vista Grande Baptist Church, I mean, they're just constantly supportive of myself and my family and everything we do. And they pour into me, I pour into them, and it's really a great, healthy spiritual community. And then, of course, got to thank God, right, for just keeping me healthy, keeping me safe, allowing me to be able to do these fun things. I always give the credit to him and always rely on him for, you know, everything that I do, really. So he's at my center. So, and of course yourself, right, for just always taking a personal interest in helping me train, helping me manage life, helping me even doing fun things like this video, you know, helping me warm up before the event. I think you definitely went out of your way, particularly this time around, to just be supportive, and, you know, super thankful for you as well, and of course your friendship and your family.
That's what you're supposed to do with the black belt, right? You're the helper now. I think that's how it works.